Elsewhere, the privatisation bill has now been signed into law by President William Ruto. The bill seeks to have a regulatory framework for the privatisation of public institutions under the Privatisation Authority. The Privatisation Commission has identified non-performing government institutions that may be privatised progressively in order to enhance efficiency and productivity. And as NTV's Melita Oletenges reports, questions abound on the process of establishing the program.
The bill, sponsored by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and approved by Parliament in September, was signed into law by President William Ruto on Monday, with guidelines on how government parastatals and industries shall be privatized. The primary objective is to streamline the privatization process for financially struggling government entities.
So what you provided the executive with is a legal framework. Then after that, they will have to come up with a provision program that will have to bring to Parliament for approval. So maybe that only when I see what provision program the executive comes with, is when I'll be able to comment on how much we're going to get in terms of revenues from that provision.
The Privatization Act dictates that a privatization authority ought to be established to implement government policies on privatization and implement the privatization program. The privatization program, on the other hand, will be established through the Treasury and approved by Cabinet before being forwarded to the National Assembly for approval or amendment. But with no framework in the Act, there are concerns over the reversal of the process.
And one of the challenges we found is that there is not that provision in law of if you decide, if a private institution now government decides that it's now relevant or it needs to be publicly owned, there is no that legal framework. And that's one of the assignments we hope to undertake and make sure there is maybe a nationalization law.
The bill further outlines 4 privatization methods, including the initial public offering of shares, the sale of shares through public tender, sales resulting from the exercise of preemptive rights, and any other method deemed appropriate by the Cabinet. The Privatization Commission had listed over 20 government entities to be privatized. Government
is a very bad businessman, and the government should not do business. They should only do business that cannot be done by the private sector, which is mainly provision of security, and those things that cannot be competently done by the private sector. But anything else, government should not operate business activities. They should be let to private individuals or private institutions to run them.
The Azimio la Umoja coalition has, however, opposed the move, arguing that it is being tailored to benefit a few individuals.
Tunasema ni lazima mambo haya yawekwe kwa njia ya uwazi, sio mbano ya mambo ya kichini chini ya kisirisiri. Mazungumzo yawe mazungumzo ya wazi.
Hakuna anayekataa maendeleo. Hakuna anayekataa ya kwa tuweze kuinua na kupanua bandari yetu. Lakini kile tunachokisema, when you start cooking, hamna kuna kile kiungo chaitwa chumvi.
Melita Oletenges, NTV.